Today we're going to practice drawing a face, just using some basic proportions. So I'd usually sketch a little circle first. Don't want to draw this too small because if it's super small then you're going to struggle with getting details. So I usually go for drawing a line in the middle of this first. This is going to be where my eyebrows go. One down the middle just to help me center things. I'm going to draw this one a little bit longer. It's going to help me come up with where the chin is at. So I'm going to take about half of that distance. That's going to be where my chin's at here. So chins are very difficult to get on. I usually would mess up a bunch, so I'm going to just draw this really light. I'm drawing with a 6B pencil so that it comes across well, but I recommend drawing with an HB pencil to start off because you're probably going to make mistakes, just like I'm going to make mistakes here. I know I am. So I draw some angled lines coming up from the chin, and then we're going to draw in some of the jawbone. So those ones are a little more straight, but they're still at an angle wrapping to the head, so I'm trying to make sure they're somewhat even. This is all very sketchy at first. We're just keeping things very, very light. So I'm just getting out the major proportions of the head. So I'm going to draw a little curved line in here to help me find in where my hairline is later. Curve in here. This will help me center things and even things out. Don't want it to be too much bigger. Kind of done goofed because I didn't make my circle perfect before. That's okay. Just sketchy lines. Just trying to make sure that I do on the left side, I do the right side to keep them somewhat symmetrical and parallel. This is going to help me with the hairline. So from the top of those curves that I drew, I'm going to draw a little line right there, and at the bottom of those curves I'm going to draw another line, and this is going to be where my nose is at, this line right here, and about where this circle is at. It's going to be like where the top of my lips are, and where my jawline is I'm going to draw another line to represent where my lips are. So it's starting to come along, and I might need to make adjustments later. I make adjustments constantly. I'm not perfect at this. Okay, so I've got things somewhat mapped out. So I need to start thinking about where things go. Where should I start? Well, if this is where the eyes are, I'm going to lightly mark down where I want things to be. So I want my nose to be along this line at the bottom of those curves. So I'm just going to draw a little oval right here just to help me get started. And about an oval about where my mouth is. Now I like to add these just to get an idea of how big I want things to be before I add in all of the detail, because it sucks to erase extra detail. So usually from like the corner of the mouth up is like the middle of the eye, so I usually draw little bits, little lines coming up. I try to keep them somewhat parallel so that my eyes are symmetrical. And from the corner of my nose, however big I want it to be, if I draw lines going up again, that's going to be where my eyes begin. So there's the corner of my eyes and about the middle of the eyes, and this is going to be where the end of my eyes are at. So I have things somewhat mapped out. Try to make them about the same size. Do a little bit on the left side, a little bit on the right side. And before I get going with anything else, I'm going to make sure I get my ear bones in. So my ears go from this line where the top of my eyes are at to the bottom of my nose. I'm just going to again draw a simple little oval. Kind of looks like a robot that I'm going on here. And they are curved. Slanted, not curved. So they're about the same width, these ovals that I have. And again, they're very sketchy. I'm drawing really loose lines. I'm not committed to these. If I mess up, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to add in some lines going here to represent the shading of the jawline. Going to add in where my neck comes from. It comes from a little bit from the jawline. We're going to go inwards. I like to get everything kind of measured out before I start drawing. want things to be somewhat proportionate. And then I'm going to draw down my shoulders. Just keeping it really loose from here. So again, I'm not committed. I can just erase whenever I want because I don't care about this drawing. It's just a sketch. We're just getting going here. So I've got a lot of lines going on in here for shading, for guidelines. I'm probably going to get lost. I'm going to add in a little bit of funky shape here to represent the side of the face that I'm going to be shading and making this very angular. Okay. So it's about there. I'm going to also add in the hair so I can make sure everything looks proportionate. I'm just going to do a little outline for the hair. Alrighty, it comes down below this ear. I'm going to go straight up. Behind the ear, a bit of an angle outwards. And we're going to do an angle inwards. Not too long. And another bend here. And one going across. So it's not coming too far above my original circle, but hair has volume to it. And we need to make it look fluffy so our head doesn't look flat and brainless. Not a scarecrow. I'm going to have some lines come down here for that widow's peak that's in the hair. However you want to make your hair is fine with me, but I think it's harder to even draw something bald because then you got to have all those little stubbles. So a lot of my students, you try to get out of all the hard work of doing hair because you think you can do better just making them bald. Well, not true. It's not easier. I'm going to draw a line coming out and down for the sideburn area. I gotta add my cheekbone in there later. Get some better structure for this head. Make it look angular. And we gotta get the back side behind the ear just a little bit. Again. Alright, so I got it kind of mapped out. Let's start adding some details. This looks funny for now. Okay, so I am just starting to mark out. I like to start with the lips. You can start with the eyes. I don't care. I avoid them because I want to make sure that my lips look proportionate to my face while I start. So this is going to be about, is this too far apart? Maybe I need to bring my nose down a little bit. I think I do. Think about the gaps that you have. How far away is your nose from your lip? Is it really close? Is your nose longer? Because if this is the middle of my lips, then that would have been a really big gap. And maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. But this is the line that I drew for the middle. This is going to be where I start. I like to start with the inside lip, where the lips touch the crease in the mouth. That doesn't have to be so pointy. I think mine's super pointy right now. To make it long because it's long right there and that's the corner. Try to make them the same length. Okay, now I'm going to draw where the bottom lip is, just a little line here, dent, and then we'll have some angles coming up for the sides. Not too much detail yet, but just getting the placement. Oh, these look huge. That's okay, it's okay. I gotta shrink it. Gotta step back and look at it once in a while and see, does this look too big? I don't know. Okay, now I'm gonna draw this top U shape, make it a really subtle slope. Going down. Try to make them even. And again, let's not get too hung up in the details just yet because we're just sketching. This is just a sketch. I'm trying to make it proportionate still. Okay. Let's do a little dent in here to represent the Cupid's bow. Now I'm going to move my way up and make the nose, the button of the nose, trying to make it parallel. I'm trying to follow my line here that I have in the middle. See how I did a U and then some little lines coming down off of it. Again, not getting too committed to the details because I'm not ready. Because if I hate it, I'm going to need to erase it. So you saw how I added those little lines down below. Adding angled lines for the side of the nostrils. They're not popcorn, it's not curvy. And then we're going up. Yep. Now I'm going to add in some shadow lines. This is just getting the structure for my shadow. I'm going to focus on having more shading on this side of my face. And I'm starting to move up for my eyebrow. Just getting that out there. This line was a shadow reference line. Okay. And then if I want to do just a little bit of mentioning, okay, that part's going to be shadow. Just so I remember this part isn't crazy. I've got to keep that light. We don't want a heavy outline for the nose. That's going to have shadows. And I'm going to draw one really similar over here. It goes inwards towards the middle of the nose. Again. There we go. Just getting this basic shape. Making it kind of look bony and a little crease right here. I'm going to make that very light because I'm going to add in some shadows. So I'm going to do the other side of my eyebrow. It's starting to look like a dude. I am looking at a reference image that is on my Canvas assignment if you're a student of mine. I just found it on Pinterest. Goodness gracious, we love Pinterest. All right, I'm gonna leave around my eyebrows right now. I'm not gonna add any more. Not for now. So again, where the corners of my nose are, if I go up, this is going to be where the corner of my eyes begin. So I'm going to start doing that business. Again, a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. Let's not get too detailed just yet. I gotta have enough space here. So this is the bottom part of my eyebrow. Or maybe it's the top. We'll figure it out as we go. So let's go here. I'm going to make the eyelid. Top eyelid. Just a crease where that fold is at. Now I'm going to make the corner of the eye. It comes down. I think people still struggle with doing eyes. This part's flat. It's not too curvy. I'll zoom in so you can get a better idea of what I'm doing. I should probably sharpen my pencil because the sharper the pencil, the sharper the detail. And this part's going to curve up. I'm going to make it part darker back here in the corner of the eye. I'm going to add my little tear duct. Oh, I'm adding too much detail yet. I don't want to add all my detail. This part isn't too curvy. We're not making it look wide open. Because this is the center right here. So this should be where the middle of my eye is at. It's going to be about where my pupil is at. So I'm going to draw the other one before I add any detail on the inside of this. Because if I hate it, I'm going to have to erase it. And I want to move along somewhat quickly. I got stuff to do. This is just a sketch. So I'm looking from above, trying to make the same arch. Same distance between this space here and the one I'm working on, trying to mimic it. But that's really a challenge for most artists. Most people give up after the second eye. They're like, I can't do it. Yes, you can. It takes a lot of erasing sometimes to get really good at it. You'll get there. Drawing doesn't come easy to everybody. It takes time. It takes practice. Takes a lot of failures too. I've drawn so many ugly drawings and they taught me so much. Okay, now I don't think those look exactly the same, but here's another trick as well. You should be able to fit an eyeball between them. If they are too close to each other, you'll be able to tell right away just by doing this. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring from the tip of my pencil with the corner of my thumbnail and I'm going from the corner of my thumbnail to the tip of my pencil and noticing that's the same, and I like to make sure they're the same as well on the other side. So boom, boom, she there. It's okay. I think this one's a little bit longer than it should be. There we go. So they're decent. Way to go, Miss Bill. Okay, gonna add in the eyebrow. Yeah, okay, so this is gonna be where the top of my eyebrow is. We need space between that crease and where the eyebrow begins. It can come down more here. It's a little flat right there. That's the top part. Going down, coming up. And make it flat here. And an angle. And it made it stop over. Eyebrow. Eyebrow on point. Alright, again. Gotta make sure the spacing is good between the crease here and where the eyebrow begins. So I'm matching it up. So this is where it is. There we go. Trying to make them somewhat parallel, but remember your eyebrows aren't twins, they're siblings. They don't have to look exactly the same as each other. A lot of people get hung up on trying to make them look exactly the same, but chill. Maybe one is more arched because you're expressing it a certain way. That one looks like it's up higher than that one, but I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna zoom out and look at it. Okay, it doesn't suck. He's just like soulless right now because he doesn't have eyeballs. Okay, so let's move on to some shading. Yeehaw. Okay. Honestly, shouldn't even be shading right now because I don't have my details done for my ears. I should slow down. So I'm just adding some shading though because I can't wait. I love doing shading. Just adding some darkness here. Cross hatching. I'm going to get rid of my circle. I don't need that, and I don't need that line there. Okay, I guess I'll do some earlobe. Comes down, makes a hook. Comes up, out a little bit, and then back up. And it curves. It comes down. I might not be able to see all of that. Make a little curve there. Bring it down. Add some shading there. More arch down there. Then we gotta draw the inside part. I love doing this part. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'm not gonna go nuts with the detail in that ear, but that doesn't suck. Yes. Okay, it's still lined up with my nose and the eye. Okay, cool. This seems really long. So now I gotta try to copy that ear. Do it on the other side. Making it look somewhat parallel. Again, they don't have to be twins. Maybe they're just barely related. Oh gosh, that one was super wide. Oh, I hate how I do good the first time and then I fudge up. It's okay, it's okay. Patience. There we go. Still lining it up at the same spot. Add some shading in that spot. That curve that came down. Add in this part here, the ear hole. And a little line there. taking more time on it, to be honest. It's okay. All right, now eye. Let's just get this one done. At least sketch out a little bit. Drawing the iris. I got plenty of white showing on both sides, not too much. I'm going around this center line that I drew for my pupil earlier. That's the middle. Just doing some simple shading. We're not getting too crazy with this. All right, here's the middle again. I might need to bring it out some more. Try to make my pupils the same size. Just looking under my hand, trying to find that. This is where I notice that things are different on the eyes when I'm trying to make this circle the same. So I like to check the same distance here between the corner of the eye and the start of my iris. Make sure they look somewhat equal. Needed to come back a little bit more. There we go. Just clean up my lines. Make sure it's crisp. Okay, looks like he has a unibrow, but that's like going to be shading. Let me just get rid of that. It's okay to have unibrow. We accept you. See how that space here looks bigger than this space? So I'm going to adjust as we go. Trying to make it the same amount of space. There we go. It doesn't suck. And you don't suck at drawing. You'll get there. I'll get there. I can do better than this too. So can you. Just a sketch. Chill. All right. Now I'm going to make some eyebrow detail, little lines. I wonder how long this video is now. Oof, 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Oof. I want it to look like a rectangle down there. I'm gonna make it fade out better. There we go. Okay, then we got some shading on this side of the eyelid. I'm just gonna add a little bit of hatching lines. Make it look like it's in shadow so the eyes are sinking back. That's some of the trick there. Work up my eyelid, make it look a little bit heavier so it looks like it has some lashes. Can even add a couple of lashes coming down from there. Have some shading on the inside of the eye. It's not completely white. The white part, God, that pupil's big. That's okay, chill. All right, then we got a little poofy part under our eye we can't forget about. Little bags of the eye, just don't draw that too heavy. Just some hatching lines coming down to represent the angle of that nose. You can use blending stuff for all I care. I don't care. It's whatever you want. Just practice then. Just practice. Don't get rid of that line. That was to help me get everything else there. Whoop, I erased my eyebrow. Okay. She back. That's for the hair. Just wanted to make sure that was in the right spot. Okay, some shading for the cheekbone. Very light. This is the lighter side of my face. The other side's gonna be my dark side. Crisp up my lines. Make them not sketchy and fuzzy. There we go. Alright, then we got this weird shape down here for the chin if you got a dent in your chin. Comes up, comes down, curves around. Don't want it to look like hair, so making my lines go side to side. my darker side. Make sure my lines are clean and crisp along the edges, and it's not an outline, so I fade it in. See how that one looks crazy compared to the other one? Yeah, it does. Then we're going to add in some shading over here on the lip. Gotta get some more on my nose. And below it, this part's dark in here. Some shading there. I feel like my nose looks small compared to the lips. That's okay, whatever. Darker side, remember. Using my guideline I did earlier. Let's finish this eyeball. Some shading, darker eyelid. Fade out that eyelid to the top so it has a nice fold in it.